of it only a few weeks ago, and I'm making this video because I've had so many people ask me, do you like it? Really, it's a straight up question, but it's at the grocery store and on the street in a neighborhood. It's happened so many times. I figured I'll just make a short video explaining the pros, the cons, and giving you a quick tour of the car, maybe even going for a small little drive. So I'm going to do that right now without further ado. So starting with pros, some of the pros are gas mileage. As you know, if you've looked it up, it's 40 miles a gallon in the city and 30 on the highway. So we'll see if that's actually true. I'll check my trip, but we'll see. It's quiet except for a small rattle that happens in the passenger side dashboard for some reason. My dad has one as well, and the same thing occurred in his car, even though they're both new. Something is rattling, and it's probably the make of the car. But it's very quiet, very, very quiet. No engine noise because it's a hybrid. Should have probably mentioned that in the beginning. I did get a hybrid, and it's so quiet, in fact, that someone who's been in a truck actually sat with me and thought it was weird to have such a quiet truck. And the interior, it's a very, very spacious interior. You can easily fit two people in the back, so they did not skimp on the spacing of the interior, but the truck bed is a little smaller than your average truck. And to that same point, the handling and the practicality of this car is really, really good. It's meant for cities. So if you are in a city and you're also adventurous and outdoorsy, or you just need to tow some things once in a while, not too heavy, but this car might get the job done. So for me, it does, and it's very practical. It can fit in almost every parking spot. You don't have to worry about really bumping into anyone just because it's such a large truck. Comfortable. So I would say the materials they use are pretty neutral, pretty comfortable, nothing fancy. I'm in the XLT, so it's no leather, but everything is still pretty comfortable, and it's popular. So this car is selling higher now than when I bought it. You can actually struggle to find one of these. So let's jump into the cons. It's hard to acquire. If you try and order it on a actual listing from Ford dealership, it will be over sticker unless you're buying it from the factory. So that's part of the fan phase craze for this car, is that it's going to be expensive if you're not buying it from the factory. And there's no drive mode select default. I can show you what that is in a second, but basically the whole point of this car is to be in eco mode for a lot of people, and it starts in standard mode, and there's no way to set the drive mode to eco. So every time you start up the car, you have to hit the drive mode button 4 times just to get it to the eco mode, which, it's not that big of a deal, but it's a little annoying that you can't just set a default, and it should be pretty easy to do. The stereo, it's pretty mid-tier. You can't adjust the settings of bass, treble as mid-tier, as you know, and it just doesn't kick as hard as some other speakers I'm used to in trucks. But it gets the job done, and you can listen to some country music still. So during the shift of like 2021, 2022, 2023, they started removing things from the luxury package, or the XLT package. And so, my truck doesn't have the same things that my dad does, but you can pay extra for them. I don't like nickel and diming that much. One example of this is the trunk, I'm used to having a car. The bed actually has a pocket on the side. It's like the flex bed. And one of the pockets has a knob that you can turn and open up a compartment. The other one, it has a cover, but no knob. And they did that because I guess you have to pay extra or buy another cover for it. I just think it's nickel and diming, and it kind of reduces the functionality of the car when you literally could pretty much pay the same thing when you're making the car for having that access. The knobs, they do feel a little bit cheap. And when you are putting it in different drive modes like park, reverse, neutral, drive, that knob should feel really solid. It's okay. Like, I wiped something off one time with like a microfiber, and it basically puts scratches in the knob. It's not built to the highest quality to withstand any kind of use, but we'll see if it lasts the test of time. Lack of interior customization. So I don't know why they do this, but you can only get interior that has the orange inserts. I think there's like maybe 2 options. I don't even know if there's that though. I didn't see any, and when I was ordering that car, I didn't see any other interior options. So I have a red car with orange interior accents, and then like a dark navy. I don't know if you can tell right here, kind of like a bluish hue. And I think that's all for the pros and cons. So let's get a quick start up. Trying to flip the camera around. Push button key. Okay. So when you hit drive mode, which is right here, you have to click it. That's what I was talking about. So now we're in eco. The drive modes do different things. It's pretty subtle, but I also changed my screen to look a little more modern in settings. I did go to display and then selected a different background because it was this blue, and I think that looked disgusting. Still not a whole lot of customization. The Kia that I had was a little bit nicer, but you can black out the screen using this button. Here's the orange inserts that I was talking about, or orange accents, all throughout. I just don't know why they would do that, but you can only get it in that orange. All right. It honestly does grow on you though. So as someone who has had it for a little bit, it does grow on you. Let me show you the exterior. It's a little bit windy. Ow. So this is the red. And it looks really good in real life. I will say it's a bit cloudy out, so it's tricolor paint, and in the sun it will show up more like an orange. Like you can see how red that is. That's how red the car is in the shadow. You can kind of see the orange come out, but it's not really full sun. It's really quite a small vehicle compared to other trucks. It looks like a little mini. Oh yeah, I put it. Here's what I was talking about from that compartment. You can actually access that pretty easily, but on this side they didn't include a knob to access it, so that's just kind of frustrating. Oh my gosh, I locked it. This is pretty useful. You can that actually stays up if you wanted it to, but lots of space in the back. I have seat covers there that I might put on since there's nothing leather, so I might put on some leather seat covers. But let's get a good profile view, and I'll drive it down the street and you'll see how quiet it actually is. XLT package. Okay. Let me buckle up real quick before I put it in drive. All right. So e-brake is this button here. A lot of notifications every time. Oh, I also have this locking whenever you come to a stop. So you can see I'm in electric with a hybrid. And whenever I take the foot off the brake, it immediately starts charging. It won't charge as much if you're in different modes like sport or normal mode. You can literally feel the car slowing down though whenever I take the foot off the brake, the gas. Now whenever I start to brake, you can see that charge meter go up. And if I come to a complete stop, brake coach tells me I had 100% energy return. I'm gonna go a little faster to get out of electric. See, you barely can hear the engine. It's just a really quiet truck. Engine is actually running right now, charging the battery, I assume. I don't even know if you can hear it on camera. You might be able to hear the rattle coming from the passenger side. You might be able to hear some wind noise, but it's just a quiet ride. Very good visibility, I'd say, for a truck too. Let's see what our trip miles per gallon is when we get there. I'll be interested to see. It is interesting that this is 30 miles a gallon on the highway and 40 in the city, where I'm used to better gas mileage on the highway and worse in the city. The regenerative braking that allows for 40 miles in the city. And I always used to hate coming to a stop, but it's much easier when you're actually building back energy. So I'm happy to come to stops now. It just doesn't cost me anything compared to what it used to, except for time, of course. So I can take my foot off and it stays in place. I don't know why I'm signaling, I'm going straight. Lots of space down there. I'll show you this too while we're stopped. I got this organizer off Amazon. It's pretty cheap, but it's a very deep center console, so this just has some stuff on the top. Knife, gum. Very useful flashlight. I'd recommend that. You can see some of the cluster over here. It does have auto high beams, which is nice. This is traction control. This is low gear, so that does affect things as well. Did I brake a little too hard there? Just a little bit. 40.8. Wow. That is pretty insane. Holy cow, man. I haven't refilled this and it says 369 miles till empty. I don't know how big the gas tank is, but I've already gotten 200 miles out of this. That's impressive. Let me know if you would like something more professional. Kind of doubt that more than 10 people will watch this video, but it is possible for me to get an actual tripod and, you know, wider angle filming, edit it, B-roll, whatever. Maybe if 100 people watch it or something, I'll do it. But yeah, it handles like a charm. Yeah. Okay. This is what reverse looks like. Turn on the e-brake. You can connect to your phone. Lots of different ports up here. These come out. Let's see what the rating was. Okay. 1.1 electric, 2.5 total. And that was driving. A little harder actually than what I normally would. Usually I can stay within electric, honestly, for a little longer than what I did. But I kind of went a little harder. Overall, I'd recommend it.